What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about the newest film in theaters, The Crow. Now, this is the remake of the 1994 film from Alex Proyas starring Bill Skarsgård. Well, I didn't think we needed this movie, and it only further validates we didn't really need this movie. I'll go into some positives because, you know, it's not like the worst thing out there this year. I do think Bill Skarsgård is easily the best thing going for this movie when he is given opportunities to get out of his shell and put on the performance that he's meant to for this role. He's quite good in it. But this is a film that requires a lot of patience to even get to that. I will also say there's a couple of action sequences, and by a couple I mean like maybe two at best, that were pretty good. Like, I think the score, which was almost non-existent in this film, or at least not very memorable, did complement those scenes. The scene in the opera house, I think, is probably the best moment in this film, where you're like, all right, well, we're finally getting some energy back into this, and we could finally kind of get some enjoyment out of this. That's where I feel like the film kind of started getting good, but you got to realize that there's like 45 minutes left of the movie at that point. Given the fact that those are my two positives of this movie, you can probably go ahead and say this was not a good movie. Certainly wasn't. Did not justify a reason to exist. There's been plenty of remakes of this movie which I have had zero interest in watching because I just watched the original like earlier in the week. So I'm a little late to the party. And as much as I had a lot of issues with the original, I still overall enjoyed the film for what it was. It was a kind of a 90s product of its time with a great lead performance, really great world building, and just this rain-drenched cinematography and just like the griminess of the whole place. I was sold on it, and there's enough entertainment value to be found there. Here, this just felt very uninspired. The characters, you know, it's interesting because they spend a good hour. You know, in the original, what hurt the film for me was character development. The romance is just virtually unexplored at all. And here, this film spends about an hour, if not longer than that, trying to develop this romance between Bill Skarsgård and the other female actress in this film. And the two of them just don't have any chemistry, or very little at best. And you just have no interest at all, to the point where I was like, I kind of would rather not even get any backstory to this romance, because I came to see The Crow. I didn't come to see their, you know, this romance backstory. Nobody wants to see that. Like, let's see him in crow form, and we don't really see that until like the last 45 or so minutes. And even then, I'm like, is this it? Like, is he just gonna slap some paint on his face and, you know, around the eyes and just call it a day? To me, this felt like a very uninspired film. It was just very flat. There was no dimension to any of the characters. The world building was nowhere near as good as the original. The score was very forgettable. And it was just a very bland looking film with bland characters. The romance, like I said, as much time as they spend trying to develop it, doesn't work. The villains, surprisingly, holy cow, the villains in this film. If the original had cartoon characters that were fun to follow, this film does absolutely nothing with them. Somehow Danny Huston, who's always a villain in a movie, and he's usually a presence when he's given something to do, he is absolutely just a waste of time in this film. They do nothing with him, and then everyone else is even worse. They try to do more with the villains, but somehow they're even worse and less developed than in the original. Bill Skarsgård is the highlight of this film, and the action, which does offer some element of like a John Wick kind of entertainment spectacle at times. Those elements do give this movie a slight bump up, but other than that, there's just not much here to offer. There's no reason for this movie to exist. I think fans of the original are not gonna take much out of this, I think. And I was looking at my watch every couple of minutes, I'm like, how much longer is this? And that's the thing. The pacing is just all over the place, and when you think it's going, it just grinds to a halt again. And then when you think the film wraps up, there's actually 30 more minutes, and you're like, oh, well, we have to go through a multitude of villains in this till we get to the main villain, and it's like, man, they're really dragging this out. So kind of a dud. Did not enjoy this film. If you're considering going to see a movie in theaters this weekend and you've already seen Alien Romulus, I would actually go ahead and check out blink twice. It's Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut. I think it's a much well-crafted film. It has better performances, better originality, and much stronger chemistry between the characters. I think that is the film to check out. The Crow, unfortunately, is a very forgettable experience, and if I ever needed to watch The Crow, I just, of course, just go to the original. I think there's so much more fun to be had with that than whatever the heck this was. I'm giving The Crow a C- and a 2.25 out of 5-star rating. I'm being quite generous with this. Like, I think that's even a little high for this, because this thing just dragged like crazy and I did not have a whole lot of fun watching this. I think it had its moments here and there, but otherwise a very lackluster film. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please do hit that thumbs up down there below. I really appreciate the support. Comment your thoughts on this movie, if you're going to see it, if you love the original. Curious what you guys are going to be watching this weekend, and if you're really interested in seeing this new adaptation of The Crow. That being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in another video.